The Human Algorithm, Episode 6, The Choice. Every system, no matter how vast, has a point it cannot predict. Every machine, no matter how precise, has a weakness. And the human algorithm, relentless, sprawling, invisible, has one vulnerability that no engineer, psychologist, or algorithm can ever fully control: consciousness. We have traced the threads of influence. We have walked the shadowed corridors of the Institute's experiments. We have seen how identity can be measured, emotion harvested, belief scripted, and desire commodified. We have observed the loops, the cycles, the invisible chains that guide behavior, attention, and thought. But understanding is not surrender. Awareness is not defeat. Here lies the pivot, the choice. Every moment offers a path: to follow the script without question, to consume, react, and repeat, or to pause, to observe, to reflect, to notice the design, the invisible threads, the subtle nudges guiding every decision, to step outside the loop, even for a single breath, and reclaim the self that has been shaped, influenced, and predicted. Agency is a muscle, forged in discomfort, exercised in reflection, strengthened in choice. Every question we ask ourselves: why do I believe this? Why do I feel this? What am I feeling, and why? Why do I act this way? Fractures the invisible chains. Every conscious pause rewrites the code. Every act of deliberate awareness is a strike against the algorithm that seeks to predict, to control, and to consume. Because we are never fully aware of our own emotions. The limbic storm rages inside us, a chaotic, swirling storm of fear, desire, longing, and memory, shaping reactions before reason can intervene. Even what we call anger, joy, or grief is filtered through layers of past experiences, unconscious drives, and chemical currents we barely understand. Yet the algorithm watches, learns, anticipates, even as we struggle to understand ourselves. We can honor tradition without surrendering to it. We can feel deeply without being enslaved by intensity. We can exist in society without being entirely scripted by it. We can choose the patterns we follow and the stories we internalize. Responsibility is not punishment. It is liberation. It is the courage to look within, to face your patterns, your flaws, your complicity, and still choose differently. It is the quiet rebellion of examining the invisible forces shaping you and deciding which ones you obey. The human algorithm is not just external, it resides within us, in every unexamined habit, every unquestioned belief, every reflexive reaction, every limbic surge we barely notice. Breaking it begins inside. It begins with honesty, with courage, with deliberate attention. And this is where the transformation begins, in the small spaces between impulses and awareness, between emotion and expression. The choice to notice is the first act of freedom. The decision to slow down, the reflex to breathe through the storm, to observe rather than obey, that is where the chain starts to fracture. We become both scientist and subject, studying our own patterns, questioning the script we've inherited, the instincts we've mistaken for truth. The system may adapt, it may persist, it may seek to reclaim influence, but consciousness, once awakened, cannot be entirely governed. Awareness fractures repetition. Reflection interrupts control. Deliberate action rewrites the narrative. And perhaps this is the lesson the architects never thought. True power lies not in shaping others, but in reclaiming ourselves. Because self-awareness is the one variable that cannot be fully simulated. No machine can reproduce the spark of a mind that questions its own design. No data model can predict a thought that arises from courage, compassion, or genuine introspection. We are both the subjects and the authors, the audience and the performer, the fuel and the engine. And the moment we realize this, we step into a space no machine can fully reach, a space of freedom, subtle, unquantifiable, ungovernable. The choice is simple, but not easy. It demands courage, focus, and honesty. It demands the willingness to question, to resist, to feel, and to change. Every deliberate act, every conscious pause, every examination of the limbic storm within us is a strike against the system that seeks to define us. And so the story continues. The machine refining, the human awakening. Each generation phases its own version of the loop, its own reflection of control. But what remains timeless is the potential for awareness, the quiet rebellion of thought, the courage to choose differently. The human algorithm runs as it always has, but we are awake, we are aware, we are choosing. And in that choice, small, deliberate, insistent, we are unbound. Because the final variable the machine cannot calculate is you.
Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke.